What do you do when you find a pile of ugly thrift store frames for $2 each? And you want them to look like they came from a designer showroom. Can cheap frames actually look high-end, or are they just destined for the donation bin? I'm Autumn with the Flipper's Guide, and I am putting that to the test with 7 bold flips. Fabric, bobbin, trim, rub and buff, and even seashells. Some worked, some almost didn't. Stick around to see which ones made the cut, and if $2 junk can really look like $200 decor. Welcome to the Flipper's Guide, where we turn affordable finds into high-end designs without the high-end price tag. Today, we are going into Goodwill, and we are getting the cutest thrift store frames. They're gonna look high-end. Come on, let's go. As soon as I walked into Goodwill, I was so lucky to spot these frames. They were on a rack that had just been brought out, $1.99 for this one, and this one, and this one, and they just kept coming. I was pumped. I had so many plans for the frames we were about to use, and the stack just kept growing. I stuck these in the cart and kept looking around the store. We found all sorts of different finds, and my daughter fell in love with this very ugly fish. I mean, maybe not super ugly, but he came home with us. We're gonna make him beautiful. I found these drawer liners that are actually for jewelry, but we are going to use them as frames, and they were $2.99. So keep watching because I've got some amazing plans for these frames. I got ideas from all over the internet, and we're gonna dupe some high-end frames. Frame flip number 1 is our Anthro dupe. And I have to start on this one because it takes a while to dry. We are going to be using some air dry clay and creating a look that looks just like an Anthropology frame. They have the cutest bow frames, so we are going to create a bow out of air dry clay. This is something I had never done before. I watched a few tutorials, so I'm going to teach you what I've learned. First, you roll out the clay. If you use plastic wrap, it helps it not to stick and makes it so much more easy to work with. I rolled out some straight lines and then started folding it over. I will tell you, it took me a little while to get the hang of this, so I decided I was going to fold it over just like I would a ribbon or a bow, and I was not happy with this one, so it went back to the drawing board and I re-rolled it. I will tell you, it's easy if you just make it a little bit more space for the bow area. I crossed them over each other and then used a stick just to help blend them together, and then took a separate piece to make that center area. I then gave it a little bit of a movement, and if you use a wet sponge, that will help you to just smooth out that clay. I used glue sticks just to hold it in place, and now we're gonna stick it in the sun. See how it goes. I'm a little nervous, but it looks pretty cute. We will come back to that one when it dries, but now for number 2, the fridge frame flip. This is a simple DIY that anyone can do. I found this cute little frame at a Dollar General. It was, I believe, maybe $2, and it took some all-in-one paint. This is Beyond Paint, and it dries so fast. I used a heat gun just to help with the first coat drying and gave it one more coat, and then just used a glue gun to add some beads that I had bought at the Dollar Tree. Look how nice this is gonna look. I was so excited. But the fun part is that we get to add this frame and let it go on our fridge. So I removed the backing so that it would be smooth and flat in the back, and then cut out a nice piece of paper, just some cardstock paper that I had on hand. I grabbed some magnets from a local Dollar Tree and added them on the back, covering them with the paper so that it would look even nicer. And ta-da! Look how cute this looks on my fridge. If you wanted to, you could have multiple of these or a whole family of them. So cute. Up next is flip number 3, our Bobin Beauty. You saw me grab these frames at the thrift store. They were $1.99 and I already had this paint on hand. So I grabbed a fun color because we're going with almost a beachy theme. It is summertime and I'm excited to really just pump up this frame with a fun coastal look. I added a few coats of paint and then grabbed some half-round bobbins. These wood pieces are easy to find at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and they fit so perfect. I just took some hot glue and first made sure how many I needed to fit in that space, because you may need to space them out just a little bit, then hot glued them down. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you here. The Flip Fam is so fun and we always have new, affordable finds, but high-end designs. Now that we have our bobbins in place, I'm going to go ahead and add a coat of paint to just bring it all together. If you love the look of that bobbin with the natural look, you could even leave it. I know my daughter thought it was really cute with that natural wood, but I love it all one color. What do you think? Be sure and let me know in the comments which one of these frames is your favorite. Up next is number 4, our stunning scallops. Now, this is one I had seen online and I was not sure how to make it. So I grabbed some of that cardstock paper that I already had. I had some really fun designs, almost some boho look. I grabbed a shelf that I had that was already a scallop shape and traced it. You could also print off a scallop pattern or use circles and cut them in half. I traced the interior of the frame and then just cut an X to allow myself to have a way to cut out that interior, making sure to erase the pencil marks as well. Once I had created one with the 2 pieces of paper, it was so much easier just to trace that onto another set of papers. So my second frame is going to be much easier just because I already had the first frame as a pattern. So you could create the pattern first and then just use that over and over again with different colors of paper. I simply grabbed my hot glue gun and placed it on top. I can't wait for you to see what this looks like. I was a little bit nervous because I thought maybe the paper would look flimsy, but I think it turned out pretty good. I went ahead and added the other frame. Y'all just let me know what you think. Up next is frame flip number 5, our magical material frame. So I have been seeing a lot of people taking material and covering the mat, but I wasn't quite sure how it worked. So I grabbed a $2 pillowcase from Goodwill and decided I was going to try it out. I simply cut a pattern out around the mat and grabbed my spray glue. Remember how we did the X pattern in between earlier? We're doing that again, and that's going to make it so much easier to cut and place the material on the mat. I sprayed the mat with glue and simply folded the material over. So you want to make sure that your material is not too long, just a little bit longer than your frame. Flip it over and look how beautiful. It almost looks like a tile. What do y'all think of this material magic? Flip number 6 is the Floral Intaglio. And I grabbed this frame. This was the first one I found at the thrift store, and it did not have glass in it. So we are going to try something new. I first wanted to make my frame gold, so I grabbed some Rub and Buff and spread it all over. Rub and Buff is a lifesaver, and it gives the most gorgeous sheen to your pieces. I then grabbed a birthday card that I had and just used the color as the backing. And recently, when I had been to the Dollar Tree, I saw the cutest little paper flowers. These are perfect for our floral intaglio. What do you think? Number 7 are some seashell sensations. Now, I know I said it's one frame, but we're gonna do a few different little seashell flips because there's so many cool ones and I have to show them to you. So look at the cute seashells I found at the ocean. We are going to make them into the most beautiful display. I grabbed this little jewelry drawer liner. They fit into your drawers and you can organize your jewelry or other things in them, but I thought this would be perfect for displaying seashells. So I grabbed the seashells at the ocean that looked like they were crab shells. Now, most of them are broken or have missing pieces, but that just adds to the beauty of it for me. I mixed them different colors and kind of just organized them by shape and made them just to where they would kind of just blend really beautifully. I wanted to make sure that they were evenly spaced, so I used my ruler and my square, but you can kind of just move them around a little bit and make sure that they are in a straight line. Look how beautiful this turned out. But just wait, I had so many more seashells, so we're going to make another cute little frame with the smaller pieces that I had. I had seen the pieces of the seashell used to make art, so we're going to make some art. And we're going to tape off the outer area so that it almost looks like a natural mat. I then just added lots of little pieces and made them just look really beautiful and fill that space. I glued them down and you are going to be so amazed. And for my final seashell frame, this one got a little out of control. I grabbed some word art and I was so excited to pop that word art out that I busted the frame up. I was not happy. Crud. But we're not giving up. I decided to start at square one and I had another frame. This one was almost like a shadow box. It is a 2-glass frame and both pieces fit inside of the frame. You can put pictures in between it, but I am going to use it differently. We are going to add some light to our lives with this seashell frame. I first grabbed some really cute paper and then drew the pattern of the glass and cut it out so that it could fit perfectly inside the frame. Next, I grabbed some seashells that either had holes in them or were really thin so that you could see through them a little bit. I shaped them and put them on the paper where I wanted them and then marked below them so that I would not forget where I liked those pieces. I then poked holes in the paper with a little sharp tool that I had and grabbed my fairy lights. This is where it gets cool. Each hole I attached about 2 or 3 fairy lights right behind and taped them down on the paper. I made sure that the paper was still going to fit in the frame even with the lights attached on the back, and it worked beautifully. I grabbed some brown paper that I had and put it on the back of some glass because we want to block out a little bit of the light. I wrote down summer 2025 because that's when we got the seashells, and I thought that would be a great way to remember that summer. All right, are you ready to see how this turns out? We glued the shells down, and look how cute. Oh my goodness. This is the coolest seashell DIY. All right, guys, let's go back to number 1. Let's finish our Anthro Frame dupe. My bow turned out so stinking cute. I started sanding it just to get the little edges smooth, and then decided I needed to use this cute little gator sander that my friend had given me. I loved it. I grabbed some gold spray paint and started spray painting, but that was not quite the color I wanted. So we are going to add a different color of spray paint, and that's so much better. There were a few little places that I missed, so I used the cap of the spray paint, sprayed inside of it, and fixed those details. Attached with hot glue, and what do you think? Guys, I am in love. It turned out beautiful. If you love these high-end looks for less, hit that like button, subscribe for more budget-friendly DIYs, and let me know in the comments which flipper's guide to DIY frame flip was your favorite. I've got even more transformations coming your way, so don't miss what's next on the flipper's guide. Thanks for being here, and be sure to check out my next video.